You're listening to Off the Clock Sports.
Off the Clock Sports.
The weekly show where you'll hear the best insights on all the latest in sports. Here's your host, Brendan Cook.
Brendan Cook.
My guy Tom Brady's starting to get on my nerves, man. I'm wearing a Patriots hat right now, as you can see if you're watching on YouTube. And he posted a photo yesterday, or was that 2 days ago, of him at Gillette Stadium. It looks like he's either walking in or out. I can't tell because the picture's pretty dark. But no caption, just tweets it and just walks away from it as if he didn't even say a word. So I don't know how to read into this other than this is my opinion on what he's trying to do, and people can disagree or agree with me if they want, but here's what I think he's trying to do. He posts that picture that's clearly Gillette Stadium. I can tell by the stands. I can tell by the door on the right in the hallway, and there's a little barrier there with a Patriots volunteerism thing on the barrier. So I can tell that's Gillette Stadium because I can see a Patriots logo there a little bit. But I think he's trying to send a message to Robert Kraft, to Bill Belichick, saying, I want to stay. I want to retire a Patriot. I want to continue playing, whether that's 2 or 3 more years. Because I think playing till 45 is big for Tom. He's 43 going into this season, coming up next year. He'll be 43 August 3rd. And I think he's just trying to send Belichick a message saying, and Kraft saying, I want to continue playing. I want to play until I'm 45 because I believe that's important to him for that TB12 method he's selling. I think he wants to play till 45, and that way he can say, look, I said in my late 30s I want to play till 45. I went on this TB12 method. I created this method. And if he plays till 45, he could see it works, and that will grow his brand large. So I think he's trying to say to Kraft and Belichick, I want to keep playing, but look, this is not good enough what we did this year. The receiving core around me was not good enough. The offensive line was not good enough. The defense, I think he thinks the defense is really good because he mentioned it numerous times that the offense needs to pick up the defense throughout the course of the season. I think he was basically posting that picture saying, look, I'm willing to stay. I could either be walking into that stadium that I posted in the picture, or I could be walking out the back door. And the ball's in your guys' court. I think he loves Robert Kraft. They have a great relationship. I think he likes playing for Coach Belichick despite some of the rumors that may be out there. But I think he's willing to do either or. I think he's willing to stay and sign and continue to play and chase another Super Bowl. I also think he's willing to test the waters in free agency, and I think he's willing to walk out the door and go to another team next season if Belichick is not willing to get the pieces around him that it takes to contend for a Super Bowl title next season. That's my take from that picture. I know some people are thinking that's him saying he's gone. I know other people are saying, no, that's him posting that he is staying in New England. I think it's a little bit of 50-50. I think since we can't tell if he's walking in or out, he's leaving the door open for anything with that picture. And like I said, I think playing till 45 is very important for him for his brand of the TB12 method, because then he can say, look, I said I was going to play till 45. I did this. This is my method. This is my plan. This is what I do training and eating habits-wise, and it worked, and I played until 45. I said I was going to do it, and I did it because of this. So I think that's important to him. I just think when it comes to that picture on Instagram and Twitter, that's his thought process. He goes, look, I can either be walking into that stadium or I could be walking out of it, and you guys will make that decision ultimately because I'm willing to stay, but I'm also willing to leave. What do you think of the picture?
Well, it's a good take on the TB12 thing. I never thought of it that way. And from a business perspective, because he's a businessman, I think it's a good idea. It would definitely help his brand grow because, hey, look, this is what I've been doing. This is the program that I stuck to. I played to 45, and like you said, I got to 45 playing in the NFL because of this. Good take on that. I like that.
Whether he's playing at an MVP level or whether he's playing at what he did this year, he didn't play bad this year by any means, despite what some people might think. I think there was part of the issue was maybe his age, but the other part of the issue was what was around him. But whether he plays at an MVP level, at a Super Bowl caliber level, or whether he's just a good quarterback, if he throws 25 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, and 3,800 yards a season, he can say, look, I played in the NFL till I was 45 and I competed. I think that's big for his brand if he does that. Even if he plays at, like I said, an MVP level or if he's just like the 18th best quarterback in the NFL. I think that's very important to Tom and for his business, like what I said.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think it is too. As far as the actual picture goes, when I first saw the picture, I thought, okay, he's playing mind games. This is the week of the Super Bowl, right? He's used to playing in that game. He's been to 9, he's won 6. He's used to playing in it. So if you take it with a grain of salt, roughly every other year he's in the Super Bowl throughout his career, right? Pretty much every other year. If you just for easy math and just with a grain of salt, every other year he's in the Super Bowl. This is not easy for him to sit out this year. No. He was there last year and won. Their expectations are as high as any other NFL team. They're expected to get to the Super Bowl and win. For him to be missing out and losing to the Tennessee Titans, and that was tough for him. It was tough for the team. It was tough for the coach. It was tough for everybody. What I took from that picture was, okay, it's Super Bowl week. He wants not so much, hey, look at me, I want attention on me. I wasn't really thinking of it that way. I was thinking of it more, okay, he's playing a little bit of mind games. He's letting people know, hey, I'm still here, right? I'm still here. I still want to play. Yep. The only thing is weird to me is the reports I'm reading is he wants to get paid. And I don't know what that means because the market right now is just ridiculous. That's Jared Goff broke the market with his paycheck. You know, he's making $30+ million a year, and he's terrible, right?
I don't like Jared Goff at all.
He had one good year, which was last year. He did nothing this year whatsoever. He stunk. So he broke the market. Carson Wentz, you know, he has got the potential to be one of the better quarterbacks in this league. Really haven't seen very much because he gets hurt. Poor guy. It's not his fault, but it is what it is. So he's getting paid big dollars. Tom Brady, if you look at his resume, you look at Carson Wentz's resume, the only thing that's going to be saying, hey, well, I'm not going to be paying you that. It's his age. He's 40. He's going to be 43. So if that's true and he wants to get paid, I think that's going to be a big problem. Robert Kraft, I don't think has a problem paying the man, but within reason, right? If he's going to get paid $35+ million, he's 42 years old, going to be 43. Yeah. You know, like you got to look at it that way. That's kind of like if it was me, it's like, okay, Tom, look, man, like we appreciate everything you've done. You've been by far the best quarterback that's ever lived, but you want this amount of money and you're 40, going to be 43. You know, we got to start looking in the future here. Like you're not going to live forever, be our quarterback. We got to look forward here. We shipped out Jimmy G a couple of years ago because we stuck with you, and it worked out because we got another Super Bowl. But now Jimmy G's in the Super Bowl representing the 49ers, and he's probably going to be in the Super Bowl for the next however many years now because the 49ers are built. They're going to be a dominating team for at least another 5 years consistently, if not longer. I hope Tom Brady goes back to the Patriots. And you're probably thinking, wow, are you serious? But I hope he goes back just in the sense that because he is the Kobe Bryant and Derek Jeter of football. Kobe played there his entire career, 20 years. Derek Jeter, 20 years basically as a Yankee. Didn't go to any other team, 5 championships. Brady's got 6. Just to look at the stats, it would just be awesome to see, okay, he played for one team. He won everything there. That's it. I don't want him to be another Brett Favre. Brett Favre, when he left Green Bay, he did all right in the Jets. He did all right. But then he retired how many times? And then he went to the Vikings, and then he retired. You know what I mean? He was just all over the place. And I hope he's not like that. And he just stays around too long. Because let's face it, like this year he didn't play horrible, but he wasn't Tom Brady, right? From the distance from last year to this year is night and day. There's no denying that. But his weapons around him, you're right. He had no weapons this year at all. Julian Edelman was really banged up. Gronk is not there anymore. He doesn't have the receiving core. So I think that Tom Brady, I don't know what he's going to do, but if he does come back and he's playing again, I hope he's with the Patriots. I don't want him to go to the Vegas Raiders. To me, that would just be what for? Like, why? Why do you want to go play somewhere else? What for? Like, do you really think you're going to have that much more success somewhere else? You know, go for it, sure. But again, he wants to get paid, right? And if he wants to get paid, how much does he want to get paid? That's going to be right. Like that money talks, right? So he potentially could just go where the money goes, right? Or where the money is, because when we were watching the fight over at Boston Pizza there for the McGregor fight, we saw him talking to the owner of the Vegas Raiders, right? That probably meant nothing. It didn't mean anything, but you know what I mean? Like, it's little things like that. There's rumors he's going to go to the Chargers, and Phillip Rivers has already, looked at getting out of the team, and he's going to go somewhere else now. Like, I don't know. The free agency this year is going to be really strange.
Yeah,
really.
So my top 5 destinations for him to go is, I think he's going to go A, Chicago Bears, B, Vegas Raiders, LA Chargers, Tennessee Titans, or back to New England. Those would be my 5 destinations. I think Dak goes back to Dallas. I said Dallas earlier. I do think they work something out with Dak. I've heard those rumors. I don't see them. I heard recently the Giants drafted Daniel Jones 6th overall. He's not going to the Giants. Like, that's not happening. Vegas needs a quarterback. I think they got to move off Derek Carr. Like, I no disrespect to Derek Carr. I think he's an average quarterback, but I don't think he's anything better than that. I think he's a guy that could get you like 9-7 on a good season. I don't really think you're looking at anything too much better than that. Mitch Trubisky, I mean, maybe Tom going to Chicago for a year or two would do Mitch Trubisky some good. Like, maybe that's what Mitch Trubisky needs. He needs a leader like that, a guy who can help him be a pro, guy who can help him, handle the off-field criticism, handle the everyday what it takes to be an NFL quarterback. And maybe Tom can show him some things like, hey, man, like, you're doing this and this. Maybe sitting behind Tom Brady for a year would do Mitch Trubisky some good. I don't know. The LA Chargers have confirmed they're moving off Phillip Rivers. They could look to the draft. They could trade up maybe and draft Tua ahead of Miami, because Miami's drafting 5th and the Chargers got the 6th overall pick. But I think they could move up, draft Tua, and maybe they sign Tom like a 2-year, $70 million contract that he gets the money he wants. And maybe they're saying, like, look, we're going to play you. You're our guy for 2 years, and maybe year 3 they turn the page and go to Tua. Like, maybe there's like a succession plan in place kind of thing for the Chargers. Maybe Tua can sit behind, kind of like what Mahomes did with Alex Smith. Sat behind him for a year. He got groomed. He learned the playbook. He learned, the defenses on the other teams and the teams within the division. And then after the full season, they moved off Alex Smith and then went Patrick Mahomes. Maybe there's a scenario like that, or like the Aaron Rodgers scenario in Green Bay, where he sat behind Brett Favre for 3 years, and then boom, it was Aaron Rodgers' team, right? Tennessee, there's a relationship with Mike Vrabel. He played for the Patriots, won 3 Super Bowls with the Patriots. They, in my opinion, were missing a quarterback in that AFC Championship. That's my opinion. There was such a mismatch at quarterback, from Patrick Mahomes, as great as he has been playing, to Ryan Tannehill. I think really was the difference in that AFC title game. I think had Tennessee had a Brady-like quarterback maybe this season, maybe potentially the outcome of that game is different for Tennessee. But there was such a mismatch at quarterback that there was no way in hell the Titans were knocking off the Chiefs that day. And I think that's the missing piece. And I think New England is my number 1 pick, because even though there's reports of Brady leaving, even though there's a strong chance he does not go back to New England, I think he has a love and respect for Robert Kraft that he would consider at least going back. And you never know. Maybe Belichick goes out and trades for Odell Beckham Jr. Maybe Rob Gronkowski unretires. We don't know the answer to that. I think it's unlikely at this point, but I think it's possible, because Gronk even said my options are open. Right. And maybe those things happen, and maybe Tom goes, you know what, I'll come back on like a $25 million a year contract. I'll take a little bit of a pay cut if we're committed to winning. I think he would at least give Robert Kraft that. But if it's N'Keal Harry and Jacoby Myers and Ryan Izzo and Matt Lacoste, and Sony Michel and James White are in the shape they were this year, where they're a little banged up, I could see Tom just saying, look, I don't care if I win another Super Bowl, or maybe I do care if I win another Super Bowl. I want to be the highest paid quarterback. I want to be compensated for what I've done the last 20 years. Or maybe he says, you know what, you guys, if this is the same roster, we're going to go forward like this. We're not going to win a Super Bowl in the next 3 years, whether I'm here or not. So I'm going to go somewhere that gives me that opportunity. But I think he at least has enough love and respect for Robert Kraft over the last 20 years, being so loyal to him. Robert Kraft did tell Bill Belichick reportedly, get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm letting Tom play as long as he wants. And now Jimmy's in the Super Bowl. So now, 2-3 years later, with Jimmy in the Super Bowl, is Tom going to walk out the back door when Jimmy Garoppolo could win a Super Bowl tomorrow evening? Like, Jimmy Garoppolo wins the Super Bowl tomorrow, and Tom Brady walks out the door in March. That's a pretty bad 2 months for us Patriots fans. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. No, fair enough. Yeah, I don't really know exactly what's going through his head, but if he does want to get paid the big dollars, I think he's not going to be. It's not going to be in New England. Someone will give him that money. Not to mention the fact it's going to bring in people. Tom's never been a free agent in his career. This is the first time. Um, it's just weird to me because you would think if he was going to be in New England, he was going to stay. It's almost like you'd think this would have been already locked up by now and he would have signed. That's the only thing with me. But it's interesting. Yeah, I think he wants to see. All right, well, this I'm sure Mr. Kraft has already said, look, this is what we want to give you. You know, let's negotiate, kind of thing, right? But I think Brady said, well, what do I have to lose? I can definitely take this money and stay here, or I'll just go out in free agency and see what other teams are going to give me. Oh, well, Los Angeles is giving me a call. They're going to offer me $5 more million. Can you match that? You know what I mean? It's going to be one of those things. And it's just going to be really weird seeing Brady in another uniform. I really don't see it. I hope for the sake of his career, he just stays and just retire there and just be done with it. Manning was a little differently because he wasn't as old when he left Indy and Andrew Luck took over.
Well, yeah.
So you know what I mean? It was two different situations. I've read somewhere that they were comparing that. Oh, Manning could do it. Yeah, Manning could do it, but he was in Denver for a number of years and won a Super Bowl. And, you know, I can't really, I mean, depending on where he goes, like if he goes to Vegas, I don't see Brady winning a Super Bowl in Vegas. I just don't see it. You got to play San Francisco out there. San Francisco is the juggernaut out there. They're going to be that team that's probably going to be in the title game every year for the next however many years. Kansas City, you know, Patrick Mahomes is now the face of the NFL. He's the big thing with Lamar Jackson. They have the torch now. They're going forward. They're the guys. So like
Deshaun Watson too.
Deshaun Watson, the young boys have taken over. So those are the teams that are going to be in the title games consistently now. If Brady comes back to New England, they get some weapons around them. They're right back to a contending team. He knows the system. He knows exactly how it works. He knows it better than any other player that's ever played there. It just makes sense for him to stay and have the weapons go to him as opposed to him going to the weapons. But even if he goes to the rumored teams that you just mentioned, does he have that much more better weapons than he does in New England? To me, not really. I mean, you could. I mean, not really. I mean, him in Cleveland would be very interesting because there's all kinds of weapons there. But that's just that's another conversation.
I think they're all in on Baker.
Yeah, so he's definitely not going to go there. But like the weapons that Cleveland has on paper, it's just like, oh my God, how did Cleveland not do as well as they should have this year? Conversation for another day. But I don't see him going anywhere. At the end of the day, I think he's staying in New England. I think he's going to stay there till he retires. And if he does go somewhere else, I won't be shocked, but I'll just be very confused to what it is. But the only reason I could see it is money. He wants to get paid.
Yeah, that would be really the only reason. And free agency is March 16th, I'm reading. So I don't think he's going to sign the first day, though. I think he's going to test the waters. I think he's going to feel some teams out. I think he's going to maybe see what New England does if they swing a trade for OBJ, if Gronk comes back, or they pull off something big in free agency as well and get some weapons. Because I think what he's thinking right now is this is unacceptable and I'm not coming back to this. So and I think if he does come back to this, he's like, look, if I'm coming back to the roster we fielded last year, you're paying me because I ain't putting up with that for $20 million a year. I mean, that sounds selfish to say because I'd be like, oh, I'll play for $20 million, but I think he's going to want to get paid for the 6 Super Bowls and the 3 league MVPs that he's won and the 8 straight AFC Championship games he played in before this season. So it's going to be interesting to see him and Drew Brees, 2 of the best quarterbacks of all time, are both free agents. And we're just waiting on Drew Brees because we don't know if he's going to retire or go back to New Orleans. That decision will come in about a month or so. And then, like I said, shortly after, we might know where Tom Brady's playing football. I never thought I'd see the day where we're talking about that. But